This is Chapter 10, 1099 Tracking and Reporting. In this chapter, we will learn who has to complete 1099 tracking and reporting, how to set up 1099 contractors, making payments to 1099 contractors, and 1099 year-end reporting. If you are an employer in the U.S. and you hire an individual or a company who is not incorporated to do work for you, you are required to keep track of payments made throughout the year. At the end of the year, if payments made to an individual or company who is not incorporated are $600 or more, you are required to provide the payee with a 1099 form. In addition, this information must be reported to the IRS by the end of January of the following year. For example, payments made between January 1st, 2021 and December 31st, 2021 must be reported no later than January 31st of 2022. QuickBooks makes it easy to keep track of 1099 contractor payments and complete the reporting requirements. In this chapter, we will show you how to properly set up a 1099 contractor, how to track payments made to those contractors, and how to complete the year-end reporting for 1099 contractors. In QuickBooks, contractors are categorized as vendors. A vendor is anyone you make payments to other than an employee. Therefore, you will add all 1099 contractors as vendors in QuickBooks. Larry has hired Glamorous Gifts to provide customized gift baskets for his guests upon check-in. So we're going to add Glamorous Gifts as a 1099 contractor. We want to navigate to our vendor center. So we can go to New and click on Add Vendor. And this opens up our vendor center. And then it says to complete the fields as follows for Glamorous Gifts. So the company name, Glamorous Gifts, and that automatically shows as vendor display name as well. And then you can tab down to email. That's going to be glamorousgifts@gg.com. Phone number is going to be 817-654-3210. And we're going to click down to the address, which is 123 Glamour Gifts Way. And that is in Austin, Texas. 76063. We're going to scroll down to the additional info section, and the terms for Glamorous Gifts are going to be net 30. And business ID number, social security number is going to be 12-3456789. And right next to that box, we want to check off the track payments for 1099. The default expense account is going to be other business expense. And it says if that is not already added to the chart of accounts, we can add it now. Sorry, froze for a second there. The default expense account, we wanted other business expense. We need to add that if it's not already shown. And I don't think we have that for we don't. So if we type it in here, other business expense, and you hit the tab button over, usually you can add it in there, but it's not going to let me. All right, let me go over. Let me save this and go into my chart of accounts real quick. Usually you can add it right from the drop down, but maybe with an update, it stopped allowing you to do that. So let me just go into my chart of accounts real quick. I'm going to do new. Sorry, other business expense. It's going to be an expense account, and the detail type we're going to keep the same, and just go ahead and save that. So now we're going to go back. I'm going to go back into our vendor center. And from our vendors list, I want to find that glamorous gifts. Just going to click on that, and then I'm going to go into edit, and it still has all of my information saved here, but I'm going to go down and choose that other business expense account. All right, and then it says attachment. You can attach contracts and other key documents to a vendor profile if you wanted to. We're not going to do that. We're just going to hit save here to save that last update. Page 10.3, it says if you added a vendor previously and did not mark it as a 1099 vendor, you can go back into the vendor profile to update this info. Follow the steps below to mark Claire Dane as a 1099 vendor. If we go back to our vendors list, I don't know where Claire Dane came from. I never added her as a vendor. Let's go ahead and add her with, see if the book shows her information that we can input real quick. Okay. First name Claire, last name Dane, and then we have looks like that's all the information that they even have in there for her. I'm just going to click save. But the same way that I went into edit for the Glamorous Gifts business expense, I'm just going to go into edit Claire Dane as well. So if I just click on her, brings me to her vendor profile, and then I can hit the edit button here, and we just want to go down and mark her as a 1099. All right. So that's all. We're going to save the updates for Claire. And we can go back to our vendors list. Down the bottom of page 10.4, making payments to 1099 contractors. After setting up contractors to track 1099 payments for reporting, you can record payments. It's a good idea to set up an account to track all payments made to contractors. Larry already has an expense account called Contractors on the chart of accounts list. We will use this account to record all payments made to contractors. Before we even get into this exercise, let's just double check that that contractor's expense account already exists on our chart of accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my chart of accounts. And let's just scroll down to our expense accounts. Looks like we're going to have to go to the next page. And you can see I have a contract labor expense account. Let's just go ahead and make a contractors one just so we match up with the book. So we're going to go into new, call this contractors. That's going to be an expense account. And we'll just do cost of labor and save that. All right, so now we're going to make payments. First we're going to record a bill received from Glamorous Gifts. We're going to go up to our new button in our navigation bar, and we're going to select bill from our vendors column. And then with the information on page 10.5, we're going to fill out the bill form. Our vendor is going to be Glamorous Gifts. Bill date is going to be August 2nd of the current year. And that due date automatically populates. Bill number 78654. You can see the terms for Glamorous Gifts automatically populates too, because those were the terms we set up for Glamorous Gifts when we entered them as a vendor. The property is going to be California properties. Category, we're going to set this to contractors. And description, gift basket for guests, Malibu Beach, Venice Beach, Hollywood. I'm going to tab over to the amount field, and that's going to be $650. And then we're going to hit our Save and Close button to record that bill into QuickBooks. Bill 78654 has been saved. Now we're going to record a check that Larry has written to Claire Dane for some clerical work that she did. We're going to go up to our new button in our navigation bar again, and in our vendors column, we're going to select the check option this time. All right, the payee from our drop down is going to be Claire Dane. We're going to enter Claire's mailing address here since we did not have it in the vendor setup. Remember, we just had her name in there and that she was a 1099 contractor. So right in this box, we can update that info. 765 Wildflower Lane. That's going to be Dallas, Texas. 76063. Payment date is going to be August 2nd of this year. That's for California properties. Category, we want contractors. And description is payment for clerical work done for the month of July 20, whatever your current year is. Tab over to the amount, which is going to be $1,000. And then we're going to save and close this payment. So that deducts that $1,000 from our business checking account. So when the payment declared date is recording, a journal entry is recorded behind the scenes in QuickBooks. That particular journal entry debits the contractor's expense account. So it's increasing the expense account with a debit of $1,000, and then a credit for $1,000 is decreasing our business checking account. So that money is being reduced. Now that you understand how to track payments made to 1099 contractors, we will show you how to generate reports that you will provide to contractors and the IRS. So bottom of page 10.7. Reporting payments made to 1099 contractors consists of printing and mailing 1099 forms to contractors who were paid $600 or more within the calendar year. The 1099 form is similar to a W-2 form for an employee. It includes total payments made, which they will need to report on their tax return as income. Failure to produce a 1099 form to contractors and report this information to the IRS could lead to fines and penalties. So unfortunately, since these are just practice exercise, we don't have actual social security numbers for our 1099 vendors. We will not be able to proceed with the next exercises in this chapter, but we'll just go through and look at the textbook for how you would complete these steps. So you would first navigate to your vendor center and you would choose the Prepare 1099s button. For an additional fee, Intuit will e-file your 1099 forms with the IRS. They will e-deliver 1099s to contractors, or they can also print and mail copies of the 1099 forms to your contractors. You would click the Let's Get Started button, and your Review Your Company Info window would open up. There are a total of 5 sections that need to be completed here. Section 1 requires you to review the company information for accuracy. This is the info that was entered when you set up your QuickBooks Online in the Setting Up a New Company file chapter. And you can see in our screenshot there that there's an error message for the tax ID number and the phone number. The tax ID number is fictitious, which is why the error message appears here. So again, this is why we can't go any further with these particular exercises, because it is a fake tax ID number. The tax ID number is fictitious, which is why the error message appears. We will leave this error for now since we do not have a real tax ID to enter. You would click the pencil icon to the right of the phone number and enter that as 310-123-4567, and then you would hit Save and Next. And again, unfortunately, the program will not let you proceed without a valid Social Security number or employer identification number. For demonstration purposes, the textbook entered a real Social Security number so that they could proceed with the example. All right, so after updating the tax ID field, your screen would show like page 10-11. So it shows Luxury Lodging Inc., 123 Luxury Lane, Beverly Hills, California, 90210, with the valid tax ID number input there. They have masked it because they don't want, divulging a real tax ID number or social security number. And then the updated phone number as well is shown. And on the next screen on page 10-12, you would categorize payments to contractors or 1099 vendors. In this screen, you will select the type of payments you have made to 1099 contractors. The most common types will be the non-employee compensation and rents if you rent a commercial space for your business. Some others include royalties, other income, fishing boat proceeds, medical payments, direct sales, substitute payments in lieu of dividends or interest, crop insurance proceeds, gross proceeds paid to an attorney, or excess golden parachute. For the exercise, you would have select non-employee compensation and select contractors from the drop-down menu as indicated in the next screenshot on the top of page 10-13. You would then select next to move on to the next screen where you would review your contractor's info. And again, it says notice the error message of missing information for Claire Dane. You would click on edit as shown in that middle image on 1013, and the following screen would display where you would select the contractor type, either individual, files taxes using a social security number, that is the most common, or as a business, which files tax using an EIN, employer identification number. The exercise selected individual, which uses a social security number, and the information that was input was Claire for first name, last name Dane, then her social security number. Again, they couldn't divulge that because they needed to use a real social security number to proceed. The address 765 Wildflower Lane in Dallas, Texas 70603, and you would click save to proceed from there. Then you would click next now that all of the error message were gone from the review your contractor's info screen. And if you have vendors that meet the $600 threshold, they would